wrist, man. Go ahead, she twisted my wrist. She's already over there twisting my wrist. Wait, I'm not doing anything. Why are you twisting my arm? I'm not doing anything. Got it. No, you ain't got nothing. I didn't do anything. He snatched my fucking. I had to write the song my lord.
He placed a handcuff on me right here by where this gentleman's coming out of the fence right here. Right there. That's where they intercepted me a little bit farther in. One officer put his hand on me and grabbed this right side of my left side of my wrist, while the other officer was beginning to grab this. I explained to the officer that my right wrist was injured. When I explained to him that, he pulled my right arm up and out and twisted my wrist completely, over popping it, forcing me to scream, and I yelled and went down to the ground on my right knee. They picked me up, get me back, handcuff me, throw me in the police car. I sat in the police car anywhere between 35 to 40 minutes with them going back and forth. So apparently he finally come back out and he tells me that they're gonna let me go. So they take me out of the police car, take the handcuffs off, and put the handcuffs in front of me and put me back in the police car. Plus, with all my wallet, my cell phone, and my keys to my car, they gave me all that stuff back. And then he sets me back in the police car. I call Mike Rhodes and tell them why I'm standing outside. Before then, I call Mike Rhodes. As my memory come back, I call Mike Rhodes and tell him that the police over here harassing me and they're giving me some problems. Could he please call me back on the phone? I hung up the phone. Now, when I'm in the car, I pick my phone up out of my holding belt holder again to call Mike to tell him that they're arresting me now. As was sitting there getting ready for Mike to answer the phone, their field supervisor came, a sergeant, I don't know what his name was, and they came up against the right side of their vehicle and were beginning to talk and the sergeant told his officer, the first thing you need to do is take that phone from him. He proceeds to open up the door and tell me to give him the phone. I said, well, you gave my stuff back, I want to call. I'm talking. At that time, the police officer snatches my phone out of my hand, tearing my phone completely apart. One piece in his hand, the other piece in my hand. Oh. And slammed the door back. Slams the door back on me after he gave me my property back. Then the field supervisor gets me out of the car, puts me in front of the vehicle, and begin to drill me on what happened, what's going on with my wrist. I'm explaining that his officer abused me and used excessive force. He was asking me, Court, do you think that they used excessive force? I said, you did. They did. They hurt me. Now, I don't know what went on inside of the Naomi house when the police officer went in there to talk with my wife. But here's my wife. She can tell you what went on inside of the Naomi house when the police officer came to talk with her about pressing charges on me.
The officer came in, asked me, showed me a picture of his ID and asked me if that was my husband. I said, yes, it was. And he said that, he asked me if he was disturbing me. I said, no, he wasn't disturbing me. He proceeded to tell me, I told him, you can't make me do press charges. He insisted that he could make me press charges against her. I proceeded to tell him, no, you can't make me tell you anything I don't want to. I don't have to answer any of your questions. You're harassing me now. He just kept prodding at me, trying to turn things around, trying to get me to press charges against him. And I got very upset with the officer. And I said, as a matter of fact, this conversation's over. I left the room and left whoever was in there, the staff that was in there, and him alone. I proceeded to leave. A little bit later, he came back. I was already in bed asleep. He came back and I said, oh my goodness, what are you here for now? I'm sleeping. He said, because your husband's trying to accuse me for his wrist. He never said nothing about anything, didn't ask any questions about it, didn't say anything else. And said, we need you to press charges. And I said, I'm not pressing charges. And I already told that. You are harassing me. I am sleeping. I'm in here. I don't know what's going on out there. Well, we can make you do it. I said, you can't make me do nothing. And I don't have to talk to you. And I said, you know what? I'm done with this conversation. I'm not. I have nothing left to say. I left the room, and that was the end of that.
Gwendolyn Crum, and I noticed Randy was trying to get his wife's attention about a cell phone. He said he threw it over the fence, and that was it. So he came away from the area. Next thing you know, the police showed up, and they was talking to him for a bit. And I noticed that they did put the handcuffs on him, put him in the back of the car, and I was feeling sorry, like, why is he taking him to jail? He didn't do nothing, you know. So they let him out again. They was doing something with the handcuffs, and I seen the officer did something to him, and he screamed out real loud, ow, that hurt, you know. I'm like, what's going on, you know? So I just stood there and watched the whole time. They put him back in the car. You know, I couldn't hear what the officer was saying, but I was hearing Randy's voice as he was suffering in pain from when twisting his wrist when they was putting the handcuffs on or off of him, putting him in and out the car. So that's my version of what I saw, you know. I didn't think it was right, you know.
And this happened right here in front of the Poverello?
Right
yeah.
in front of, like 2 nights ago, around about 11-ish or something like that. I can't recall the time.
I think it was Tuesday night.
Tuesday night.
And what time was it?
Really, I can't recall. It was late, like 10-ish, 11-ish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
10 or 11 at night, so it was dark.
Yeah, it was dark.
Did you see the officers involved?
Yeah, but their faces, names, no, because it was dark. I was sitting right here by my truck on the end of the truck right there watching everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to hear as much as I could, but I couldn't hear the officers, but I heard what Randy was saying, you know, for as him being in pain and, you know, why you know, doing this and doing that, you know, cuffing him, putting him in jail, you know. So that's about it. But I did notice that when they did take him out, you know, they twisted his arm and he screamed out real loud, you know, that was in pain. I was like, what you know, why is they doing that? He didn't scuffle. He didn't verbally talk bad to him or nothing like that.
You didn't see Randy resisting?
No, not at all. He didn't resist at all. He cooperated very patiently.
So they took you to the hospital?
Yes.
And then did they book you in the Fresno County jail?
What they done, they took me to the hospital, set me there. I began to talk to the gentleman because I was very upset. I mentioned something like, you know, you standing there with that firearm on you thinking you're all almighty and stuff. I said, but you wear a badge. I said, you took an oath of God to protect and serve, but not to hurt people. And he got kind of pissed off and got over in my face, maybe 1.5 feet away from me, standing directly in front of my feet area like she's trying to intimidate me. And then after that, they took me to an area in the hospital called Green 4, which that's where our nurse told them to take me. So the 2 officers take me in there, sit me down, and come in there with the charges. Now they're trying to get me to sign the paper. They were begging and pleading me to sign the paper. I told them, hell no. I said, I'm not signing anything. I said, I don't care how long you sit there, I ain't signing shit. I said, I want to see a doctor. He said, well, then you're going to jail. I said, well, let's go. I'm ready to go. I felt they wronged me. They hurt me, and I want my lawyers to check into it to see what could be done to bring these officers to justice. I'm not out trying to get them. I just want what they've done to me, to somebody to answer for what this officer did.